Hey there, Mijas. Dad here. First of all, I want to begin by telling you that I'm very proud of you. I'm happy to know that I get to be your father. And I mean that. You know, sometimes I feel like kids don't get enough credit, understanding just how hard and difficult life can be. I mean, for Selena, you've only been on this earth for 8 years, going on 9 years. Congratulations. So you don't really have the, best and most experience. And Katie? Oh my goodness, you and this teenage thing that you're going through. It's okay. You know, you be testing it, but I'm proud of you too. And I just want you to know that it does get harder, but my job as a parent, my job as a father, is to help guide you. And that's why you're seeing some of these videos, so you can come back to it as a life lesson. And for anybody else that wants to be able to enjoy the videos for whatever it's worth, we implore you to come along and see the insides of parenting from my perspective and failures and accomplishments. Mostly failures, but it's okay. The other day, Selena, I was looking through some old videos, and I remember the first time you were going to gymnastics. You were excited, and you still are, of course, but you were so excited you didn't know what to expect. I remember asking you, hey, like, what do you think is going to happen? You was like, oh, I'm going to be doing backflips and tumbling and doing all of these things. I'm like, you surely are. They're not going to do that the first day, but you will eventually get there. She's like, no, I think I'm going to be able to do it. Honey, no. Luckily, you did slow your roll down a little bit, and you went in. They were showing you a lot of different things. They were introducing you to some of the things that you will be doing. I asked you afterwards, how did you enjoy it? And you said you didn't want to stop. And here you are today. You're doing handsprings, backflips, whatever they call it. You're doing this thing, I think they call it an aerial, where you're doing cartwheel with no hands. You're doing these things. Like, you're doing this. You started with not being able to, stand on your hands or do a complete cartwheel, I guess, or whatnot. But now you're doing it. And those splits, oh my goodness. Oh, my body hurts when I see you do it. And I still feel very fearful when I see you do it. But I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm happy. And I mean that. There's only so many things in this world that I can say I'm happy about. But that, in particular, most definitely, that is on my list. And Katie, I remember the time when you started band. You didn't know which instrument you were going to pick out, so we were asking you, like, which instrument are you going to have? I'm not going to lie, I did hope, I had a little bit of hope in that she would pick piano, like your father. But, no, you picked the clarinet. I'm not saying that the clarinet is a bad choice. You picked what you felt you wanted, and hey, woodwinds, go about it. You do your things. But you picked the clarinet, and you were squeaking. I mean, squalling. You sound like a goose that somebody was doing terrible things to. Things that we don't really want to talk about on camera. I mean, you would try to make a sound, and the only thing that came out was a horrendous squawk. I didn't want to be in the room, and in fact, I wanted to probably run away as far as I could. It was absolutely horrible. Yes, I'm beating you down on this because I was fearful for it, but I knew you were gonna get it. I remember doing the. You had a concert or something, they had at the assembly, and they got the kids together that were doing their first, that was their first time behind the instruments, and they only had you guys playing maybe 3 or maybe 4 notes, but you did it. And by the time you did that showcase, that performance, I didn't hear any squeaks. I didn't hear any squawks. It did not sound like a goose was down there getting its head ripped off or at least stepped on. None of the sort. You got better through time, through practice. Both of you did. And a lot of the times, you don't believe that fat meat is greasy. You don't believe that if you take the time, if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, that there will be something on the other side of that. Right now, there's so much, short-term content or short content that just gives the people this interesting little hit of dopamine or this hit of adrenaline that gets you, yes, I got satisfaction right there in under 30 seconds. And we're working against that. It's pretty difficult to kind of compete against that, actually. And to see that y'all are able to take your time, to stick with something, and to keep practicing, and to still hope that you will get better through time, and to have that hope, to have that determination, to have that discipline, to keep going further. That's a hard thing to grasp. It's a hard thing to practice in life. I have troubles with it myself, and I most definitely had troubles with it as a child. I hated the fact that I just couldn't get as good as my dad skating. I mean, he would skate around and it'd be so smooth, y'all. Be so smooth, and I felt like I was a Roblox character, clunking around on my skates. And now when we go skating, I'm just, doing my thing, gliding, still thinking I'm not good enough or not really doing the smooth thing like my dad. And here comes Selena and Katie looking up to me saying, oh man, I want to do that. I want to be able to skate like you, Daddy. It's those moments. It's those moments that I'm reminding in myself. This is the time that I think I need to bring it to your attention too, that I've been there. I've been there too. And a lot of people have been there. But we have to be able to stop and smell the roses. You hear that all the time, Take your time, stop, smell the roses. That means appreciate how far you've come, even when you don't think you've gone that far. Selena, the other day we went to the amusement park, and you probably would remember this. We went to Six Flags, and you were like, yeah, I want to get on a big girl roller coaster. I want to do that, Dad. And I'm like, okay, you're going to do it. We in the line, we waiting around, your anxiety's going higher, getting higher and whatnot. It's rising, and you're still really excited. And I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. At first, I'm like, yeah, my baby girl about to get on her first big girl roller coaster. This is about to be fantastic. Until we start getting closer up, I got more afraid for you because I'm like, my girl is about to get on this big girl roller coaster. I'm gonna have to protect her. You're still excited and whatnot, and you get on, and we finally are able to get on, and we pull the seats down, and I grab your hand and I say, hey, I'm gonna hold you the whole way. And I mean, I grabbed your hand. I got your hand, and I made a little twist there because I said, I trust this machine, but just in case something were to happen, it's gonna be real easy for me to grab you and hold you real tight. But hey, that didn't happen. But what's funny is that out of all that excitement, we're on it, the ride starts backing up, and you're hearing the clankety clank, the clankety clank. And we get to the top of the part before it shoots off, and you look me dead in my eye and you say, Daddy, I am afraid. And I'm like, it's gonna be okay, Dad. It's gonna be okay, baby. And you looking at me, you say, no, Daddy, I am scared. I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, hey, baby, we already in it. And it wouldn't have been so bad. Like, I made another video about that in that short if you want to see it. But it wouldn't have been so bad if the older lady behind us wasn't screaming, saying, oh my God, this is horrible. We need to, I want to stop. I want to get off. And I'm like, you know what? We already in this. And by the time I could look right back at you, we took off. And instead of hearing you scream out of fear, you're laughing, your head bobbing and going different ways. You enjoyed it. You had a blast. You was laughing. It was just so amazing. Honestly, it was just so amazing to be able to see you do it. And you were excited. You get off and you look at your mom and you say, hey, Mommy, I did it. This was great. I look at you and say, you want to do it again? You said, nope. Nope. Man, I love that. And then Cadence, you probably would remember this. We've been having some issues with you. We've been having some issues with this little teenager and her phone usage in school. And I didn't know that until I used the handy dandy screen time app to look further into how much time have you been on this screen. And it, to my surprise, I look at the screen and it says 9 hours clocked for a school day. I say, I don't even know how that's possible, Katie. How is it that it's possible that you can clock 9 hours? You're in school for 8 of them. Then you're doing homework, Katie. How? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, baby, because it did. And then it did. And you were telling us, like, oh, no, it's not a distraction. The teachers let us get on the phones when we're done with the work and everything's fine. And I'm looking at the grades like, well, the things just ain't lining up. You forgetting to turn in homework or classwork that you're doing. How, you know what? I ain't trying to make fun of you, but how does one forget to turn in classwork that you do in class, and before you leave, you got to turn it in? Honey, the school ain't schooling. The reasoning ain't reasoning. So as you were telling me that, no, the phone is not a distraction, I said, honey, this thing sends you clocking 7 to 9 hours. I even look at it. It said you're even on it during the class time. So I had to make some adjustments. I had to say, you know what? I had to put this thing back down. I had to put a screen time limit on, some of the apps and the things that you'd be on. Oh, you didn't like me for that. Oh, you did not like me for that. You thought you were on punishment again. You keep thinking everything that we do is a punishment. A lot of the times, young folk thinks that everything the parent does is a punishment. And I got to remind you, I say, kiddos, I'm not punishing you. I'm parenting you. I say, I am not punishing you. I'm parenting you. And that's what it takes. And guess what happened a week later? You get a B- for the first time in your literature class. Look at that. You end up being able to see a problem, I guess you will. Find solutions. And instead of me just saying, you know what, take the phone away. You can't have this phone. You can't have any game time. No, that wasn't going to help you. So I had to think. We had to come up with a reasonable solution that didn't, for the most part, didn't make these little ones feel as though they were being punished. A solution that was based in growth. You were able to manage your time. Say, hey, if you only get 4 hours of screen time on this phone whatsoever, and you can have it in school, how about this? I say, Katie, you need to limit that. So if you're going to be on it, guess what? That's the time that you're not even going to be able to access this device later when you're out of school. So instead of just cutting it dry, which I could have done, I gave the power to you. I gave all of the solutions for you to utilize so that you can manage your time wisely. So that made you think, oh man, if I pull this phone out, that's all the screen time I'm gonna get before this thing shuts off. So how about I do pay attention in class? How about I put this away? How about I pay attention to the fact that if I'm doing classwork, I need to turn that in or check it twice before I do turn it in so that I can get a decent grade. So that these things don't keep happening to me. So that these limitations don't keep getting imposed on me. And it looks like whatever your thought process was, it worked. Because a little over a week later, like I said, you got your first B on a literature quiz. I addressed that to you and you said, no, I don't think it was because of the phone. Yeah, okay. And many other things that changed. But okay, it wasn't because of the phone. It was clearly upon your own doing. I'll give you that too. I don't want to have a single morsel of credit because I don't care about credit. I do care about your success and not just good grades. Parents aren't looking for their little ones to just get good grades. And some are, but I ain't one of them. We're looking for you to succeed, to be able to problem solve, to go from one end to the other, making the best choices possible. But look, that's all I wanted to share with you today. I love you. Be great. Be awesome. Be amazing. And as always, see you at the finish line.